She was a broke, single mom with no degree, no title, and no power. And she forced a billion-dollar utility to admit it poisoned a town. Hinckley, California, 1993. Erin Brockovich was divorced, unemployed, and desperate for work. She talked her way into a job at a small law firm as a file clerk. Then, in a routine real estate file, she found something that made no sense. Medical records, lab reports, diagnoses. They did not belong there. So she started asking questions. And in that tiny desert community, the pattern was everywhere. Asthma, chronic coughs, nosebleeds, joint pain, recurring bronchitis, children, parents, whole families, all living near the same company, Pacific Gas and Electric. Brockovich uncovered that from 1952 to 1966, PG&E used chromium-6 in a cooling tower at their natural gas pumping station in Hinckley. The wastewater was dumped into unlined ponds. It soaked into the ground, and it reached the drinking water. The company knew, for years, and stayed quiet. She went door to door. She drove across the desert. She sat at kitchen tables and listened. She wrote down symptoms, dates, names, stories. She built a case the only way she could, one person at a time. More than 600 residents signed on. PG&E had teams of lawyers. She had a notepad and a filing cabinet. They tried to brush her off. They tried to discredit her. One executive reportedly laughed when he heard a file clerk was pushing the case. Nobody laughed for long. Evidence showed PG&E had misled the community about chromium-6 and its link to the illnesses spreading through town. Documents, testing, patterns they could not explain away. In 1996, PG&E settled. $333 million paid to more than 600 Hinckley residents. At the time, it was the largest settlement ever in a direct action lawsuit in U.S. history. A file clerk had just beaten one of the biggest utility companies in America. Erin Brockovich received a $2 million bonus. Then she kept going, taking on polluters across the country. And the scary part is what came after. Even after the EPA concluded chromium-6 in drinking water is likely carcinogenic, there is still no federal standard protecting Americans nationwide. She is still fighting. No law degree, no medical training, no connections, just the refusal to look away. Brockovich said, "Hinckleys are happening everywhere, all the time. Will we be the people who can care enough about each of these communities to take action?" One file clerk did not just win a case. She proved that the smallest person in the room can be the most dangerous one to ignore.